Okay. Good morning. We're going to go through the Ngondro teachings. Ngondro, as in the Tibetan word, is called the preliminary practice. One way you can say preliminary practice. Two ways is said foundation of the practice. You building the foundation. Like in India, I saw that. When people build a house, what they do is they build a foundation and leave there 1 year as a foundation. Then next year they build a house. So to make sure the foundation stays stable, they wait. So that way, especially this common preliminary practice, can say common preliminary practice of the 4 training of the mind. Meditating on those 4 training of the mind is a key to building the establish of our practice. I think this is a different. Sometime there we learn about the Dharma. We know about the Dharma. We have the knowledge about the Dharma, but it never become a practical. So it's called in Tibetan we call the Dharma and your mind stream is separated. Like you not carry on the Dharma into your mind stream, into your mind, into your heart. So reason is it just stuck on the brain, not come to the heart. So I think one main reason is because we are not really established, or our heart is not gone deep enough to meditation on those four subjects called the 4 training of the mind. That reason our Dharma is become like a gold-plated gold statue. Gold statue. You can call them gold statue, but it's not really gold statue. It's bronze. So we are gold-plated Dharma practitioner. It become. I think main reason is this we couldn't build the foundation. So traditionally, receiving the teaching first, you have to make the correct motivation, and have to have a right attitude. Those two, right motivation and right attitude. So right motivation is I think most of we know, so no need to repeat, just maybe I remind a little bit, like according to the Hinayana tradition, right motivation should be renunciation. So that reason in the Buddhism we said distinguishing the Buddhism and non-Buddhism is a refuge. If you took refuge to the 3 jewels, that means that you have renunciation from the samsara. That is the key motivation or foundation of the all other motivations. So that is a first motivations. Then when you enter into the Mahayana path, then you have to have a motivation of a altruistic thought. So what is upgrading is you're wishing of liberation or wishing to nirvana is not only your personal gain, not only individuals benefit. So with that renunciation, with the altruistic thought, is become bodhicitta. Yeah. So without the renunciation, one thinks even you have an altruistic thought is not become bodhicitta, because there's no aiming of the nirvana. You just, so that is the different compassion and bodhicitta. Compassion means you just want to help. That is altruistic thought, yeah? That is altruistic thought. You want to help other. You want to do others benefit. but you're not seeking yourself and other nirvana or liberation. You just only want to liberate them from the suffering, but not necessarily we can liberate from the suffering without reaching to the, permanently liberate from the suffering without reaching to the nirvana. So that the motivation supported by the altruistic thought become bodhicitta, and then that motivation about want to become a Buddha as a within the path you apply, that is called the Vajrayana. So like in the Hinayana or Mahayana, in the Sudra vehicle, you said Buddhahood is somewhere you want to reach there. Yeah, that is called the causal vehicles, because you're focusing on the cause to become a Buddha. And the Vajrayana is called the resulted vehicles, because you're already visualizing the result of the Buddhahood or Pure Land, or in Latin mandala is within the now on the path. So that way, actually, everything is based on that motivation of renunciation. Start from there. So that one is a one upgrade, is a motivation of the renunciation as alone is called the Hinayana motivation, and that motivation of renunciation supported by the altruistic motivation, altruistic thought, is become a Mahayana motivation. That altruistic thought as a also see as a yourself as a divine, yourself as a deity, yourself as a mandala. Wherever you live is a mandala. That is called the Vajrayana motivations. So with this, because the Ngondro is belong to the Vajrayana, part of the Vajrayana, part of the deity yoga, actually, you know. So that reason you have to have all those three motivations. Motivation of renunciation, motivation of the bodhicitta, and motivation of the sometimes is we call the five excellent. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, excellent teacher, excellent teaching, excellent retinue, excellent time, excellent and so. There's a five excellent mean. Basically, it's saying within now, from now, within this place, we are visualizing ourselves as a mandala of the deity. That is what's excellent mean. So that way, this motivation is called the right motivation. With this, whenever we're receiving teaching, we need this right motivation, especially renunciation. You know, especially renunciation, and of course bodhicitta, especially Vajrayana. If you practice Vajrayana without the bodhicitta, you're meditating basically statue built by material. Even you visualize yourself as a deity, you literally visualize it as a statue, as a materially built, like a image, because there's no soul of a bodhicitta. In Latin, beings who manifest as a form body, as an embodiment of the bodhicitta. Because of the bodhicitta, they manifest. So if you don't have the bodhicitta, it's not, like no soul. No consciousness, no wisdom. So then you visualizing deity is still not become complete. Make sense? It's like you are taking care of the dead body. Not much benefit. Yeah. So that way you have to have a bodhicitta for deity yoga. So those are then as a second one is called the right attitude. Right attitude is there's a two, wrong. What is it? First, you have to recognize also what is a wrong attitude. When you receiving the teachings, you don't need if you have an attitude like a hunter, that is a wrong attitude. Lots of time we have that attitude. We don't care about the teacher. We don't care about the center. We don't care about the community. Long as we get what we want, then we forget all the kindness. That is like a wrong attitude, like hunter. Hunter chase after the deer. Once you get what he or she want, then, remind is they'll throw away. Make sense? Yeah, like the people go to in Africa, they hunt the what call this rhino. They leave a half dead rhino and just cut the horn. Yeah, and I saw also elephant like that.
Yes. Yeah.
So that if we without the care about anyone else, only ourselves thinking for benefit from the Dharma, is we are that kind of that kind of attitude, like hunter. Make sense? Yeah. So even that's in a mundane way, it's really bad. If someone act that way, then no question about the dharmic way. And one also, not from Buddhism, but one Hindu priest said, if you come only just hoping to be just only gain the knowledge from that person, only come for that gaining knowledge for self-thinking, he said, when you need that knowledge, you will forget. It never become useful, that knowledge, because you don't have that, what called that?
Essence?
No, like you not get the essence of a, cherishable on that. So it's a Tibetan is called a Kutub Suneba. Kutub Suneba means that like a kind of high, hidden way to try to get. So you are not like Dharma spy. You pretend like someone, but you are not that one. Make sense? So it's only you want to steal the idea.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So that is really bad. So that is called the wrong attitude. Right attitude is you have to seek Dharma as yourself as a patient, teacher as a physician, Dharma as a medicine. Then you'll get to the depth of the Dharma. Other way, if you have a wrong attitude, then earlier I said we become a gold-plated statue. Dharma plated, Dharma practitioner, not into the depth, only outside. Make sense? So that these two are important. Right attitude. I think it's called the right attitude. And this detail, you should read the word of my perfect teacher from the Tsultrim Rinpoche. It's a really, really good in there detail on those. Also he said there's another way is when you receive Dharma teachings, don't receive like a part upside down. Don't receive as a part with a hold, or don't receive as a part with the dirty.
Yes.
So part upside down means you come to the Dharma, but you're busy playing. Some people do they pray in the Dharma, doing the Dharma teachings. Some people recite the mantra. Some people try to meditate. Those all wrong attitude. When you receive a teaching, even praying mantra is a mistake because you're not concentrating. So it's like part upside down. Then part with the whole is no matter how many times you put, it never stay. We just come from this year, let go this year.
That's me.
Yeah. So what happened is you're not contemplating on that after the hearing. You have to contemplate. Because if you don't play in yourself, you have to put the question. Why he said this one? Why she said this one? What have to have on your, why have to be this way? You have to question yourself. You have to play with your head. Even sometimes put a little bit doubt. It's okay. Then you will get the answer. So once you get that answer, then you will never forget actually. So that way it's the Dharma. When receiving Dharma, don't receive teaching as a part with the whole. Then Dharma receiving teaching with the like part with the dirty part is like a go with the afflicted emotions. Especially nowadays, people, we really arrogant. Lots of time we're really arrogant. Why we're so arrogant is because we have some knowledge, common some knowledge, generally some knowledge, that we get educated from the college, we have those all, and some especially they have a degree. Once because and some are also successful with the business, with the mundane business, then they naturally become arrogant. And some, especially, this is a big problem, some have a connection with the High Lama. Okay, they not get the wisdom of the High Lama. They just have connection with the High Lama. Then since they thought, oh, now I'm student of this High Lama, so rest is lower than me. So become so arrogant. So Dharma practitioners, one of the worst emotion is arrogance and jealousy. Normally, I use this one. It's called your pot is already full. When people come in asking questions, saying such and I know this way. So once they telling me what they know, and they then I cannot give them answer. Make sense? They're not asking question. They just telling me what they know. So this is like pot is already full. I cannot add in there. Even I add, it's become a full. So you have to have, humbleness of, down to the earth, no matter how much you learn. Because a great learned one, they never become arrogant. Actually, arrogant is a start when we start learning a little bit, when we understand a little bit, but not really get in the depth of the meaning. At that time, we think, oh, now I know the Dharma. That time you have to really careful. Then once you really understood the Dharma, then that arrogance go away. Really, because the Dharma is so deep. It's impossible to reach to that bottom, so deep. So no matter how much we try, or no matter how much we learn, we only become more humble. Because now finally we understand how deepness of it. Make sense? Yeah. So that reason, once you actually understand the Dharma truly, really, in your heart, then you not become arrogant. So then also, whatever we receive in Dharma with a negative emotion, it's like a pot with a dirty pot, unclean pot, receiving water or whatever. So those have to be careful. Then here in the text, here we have some increasing mantra or a blessing that, our speech and increasing mantra. But don't take literally those increasing mantra. One time, one Malaysian guy came to Dehradun, and he said, I'm going to do Ngondro practice. He going to do Ngondro retreat. After one week, he came out. He said he finished the what called the Refuge practice. So, I mean, it's impossible to finish, even just without doing prostration, even just recite the Refuge prayer itself, cannot finish 1 week, no matter how fast you are. If you do with the prostration, definitely take like, 2 or 1.5 or 2 months to finish. So then we asked, how you can finish that fast? He said, oh, I recite the increasing mantra. So he took literally. He thought when he recite one is becoming like 100,000 or whatever, So he count that way. And he said he finished the Ngondro. So this increasing is not the increasing the number, increasing the blessing, increasing the power, increasing the energy, but the number not increasing by reciting that mantra. Make sense? Yeah. So I think that is so because of when counting, increasing mantra never increase your the prayer. Make sense? So that is there's a mantra. Then some people ask me to do the transmission. So transmission is when I read, you receive the transmission. So I will read this one, So on the first, I'm going to read from this Ngondro text. There's one text said, homage to the three jewels. So for those who are devoted to this path, there are three kinds of preliminary practice: ordinary, extraordinary, and special Ngondro. And I think maybe normally we use as a common, uncommon, special Ngondro, because ordinary, extraordinary sounds like those two are hugely different. Is the meaning that is English that one? Yeah.
Yeah.
One is a higher, one
Yes.
is yeah.
When you say
No,
it's
common and uncommon is better. Why? Because the meaning is the same, but some are using commonly with the Hinayana, Mahayana, Vajrayana. Okay, but some are only Vajrayana necessary. So uncommon is especially in the this full training of the mind. A refuge is a common preliminary practice, basically. But then when come to the Vajrayana, and this refuge is called the Vajrayana refuge, is including the deity, Dharma protector, all those seven circle of refuge. So that way it's become uncommon. So it's particularly in the Vajrayana tradition. Then Vajrasattva, mandala offering, Guru Yoga, those are especially connected to the Vajrayana practice. So that way they use as uncommon. So common and uncommon is not talking about the one is better, one is worse. It's talking about the, kind of like what called the
shared practice.
Majority. The majority of Buddhism, everyone must meditate on the full training of the mind. There are no exception, anyone, Dharma practitioner. Okay, that way it's called the commonly using. So uncommonly means the only particular practitioner use that one. So Vajrayana practitioner use that one, especially like Vajrasattva, Guru Yoga, Mandala, those things. So that way, this is, I think English shouldn't use ordinary or extraordinary. That's not good word. Then special Ngondro is a special preliminary is talking about the bodhicitta. So that is we can use as a special, but as also it's not like one is better or one is worse or some kind of, it's not really ranking, can say. Yeah, not ranking. So here first says, as an antidote of the vivid attachment toward this life, contemplating the difficulty of obtaining the freedom and endowment. On this precious human body, extremely difficult to obtain and can easily be lost. Now that I go to without the gathering under the sweat of a meaningless distraction, I will endeavor in accomplishing the joyful fruit of liberations. So we have to think about this, why it's called the precious. So before that, so I will read from this commentary. Then maybe we can come back on that. This is a commentary is in the Drikung tradition, mainly using for the retreater, and one of the, I think, main first commentary. This is wrote by one of Drikung Dharmakirti's student called the Hotile Nanje. Yeah, I think he's from South Tibet, like my hometown province, South Tibet. That were called the Ho. But I don't know later what happened. His monastery is not there because Rinpoche sent him to the Nanjing, come to the Lama, to the king of the Nanjing, Nanjing regions. So later then, now his nation all is in the camp. Yeah, so this first one. So he wrote all Rinpoche's instruction. He wrote down and showed the Rinpoche. So then it should approve all this, right? So then wrote down. So that way, word of the Dharmakirti mean as a because of the Dharmakirti as a Rizhichara, Drikung Rizhichara, first holiness Chungsa. One of the Drikungs, I think, can say omniscient one because he was great knowledgeable to everything, medicine, of course, Vajrayana, Sudrayana, and all the languages, everything. He was one of those, uh, you know, multiple older, not that many. Some, there are lots of, maybe you can have lots of called like a PhD, yeah, PhD type, specialize on something, some state. But some, only few of them know everything, all those major knowledge. So he was one of those. So his disciple, one of the hard disciple, is called the Lotile Nage. Lotile Nage wrote down the text, this commentary. It's called so I name as this one called the Vajradhara Dharmakirti, word of the Vajradhara Dharmakirti. He didn't himself didn't write his hard disciple Lotile Nage. So he said, prostration to the Lama of the Supreme Lama and the Supreme Deities that pay homage. You who are liberated from the old bound of samsara and nirvana by perfecting. So actually, Buddhahood is beyond the samsara and nirvana. Samsara is on one side, nirvana is on one side, always a bias or dualistic. Buddhahood is non-duality. So once reach Buddhahood, you cannot distinguishing this is samsara, this is nirvana. All is called the one taste. Yeah. So that is our goal. In the Buddhism, what we're seeking actually, what we're seeking is a wisdom. What is the wisdom? Is a non-duality. That's our goal. So for that, how to reach to that state of the non-duality, we're practicing, we're studying, we're hearing, we're contemplating. All those are we're doing is to reach to that non-duality. So once you reach to the non-duality, there's no samsara, no nirvana. It's beyond the concept of samsara and nirvana. Because why is called beyond the samsara and nirvana? Because that Buddhahood is no one can imagine beyond our concept. Make sense? So that reason is called beyond the samsara and nirvana. It's mean the way beyond that concept of those two dualistics. And so how to reach that by that in nirvana is perfecting the two accumulations. When two accumulations are complete, you reach to that nirvana. Knowledgeable through the attainment of the Vajra body, endowed with the seven aspects, and arising the white light ray, love to contain it of those to be tame. The Taboka Lama who deeply darkness of ignorance apostate, dispelled. So what does this mean? He reached to all the guru, especially this Lotile Nage talking about his root guru, Dharmakirti. He reached to the Vajradhara state. So Vajradhara have with the seven aspect, Dharmakaya quality of the Vajradhara, seven aspect. Sometimes it's called the seven aspect of the unions. It's called completely enjoyment, union, great bliss, no self nature, a great, completely filled with a great compassion, uninterrupted and unceasing. That is the Dharmakaya's quality. So your guru have to see as a Buddha Dharmakaya. So that way you pay homage to your guru as a Dharmakaya. Arising white light ray of the love in the containment of those or the tame. So, but Buddha is a Dharmakaya, and beyond our conceptual and sentient beings reach beyond the reachable. Then how Buddha benefit for the sentient being is then manifestation through the compassion. Rupakaya is called the form body. Sambhogakaya and Nirmanakaya. So all our guru is that one manifestation from the Dharmakaya. And those, so that the light of a wisdom and dispel the darkness of the sentient beings who they are. Tabokaju. Tabokaju Lama mean the Tabokaju mean the lineage of the Kamboba. After the Kamboba is become a special Tabokaju. So sometimes you can call the Marbakaju, Milakaju, also Rechunkaju. You can call all this because each one have their own specialized. So Kambobas, after the Kamboba is we call the Tabokaju. We don't call the Marbakaju or Milakaju. Because after the Kamboba compounded two lineage together, Kadamba tradition and Mahamudra traditions. So how you can see those two bring all the teaching on mind and Buddha, and he bring all the teaching from the Milareba's Mahamudra. Those two compounded. So that way it's called the Tabokaju. All two lineage come together after the Kamboba. So that reason is called the Tabokaju. So from the Kamboba's disciple like Kamaba, Pamontuba, and a lot of them come through the Kamboba's disciple. So that way Kamakaju, and then Pamontuba had many disciples, but especially there's 8 individuals have their own lineage. Like Drikung Kaju, Tanung Kaju, Drukpa Kaju, all those come from the Pamontuba's lineage. So that way, all those now we have those Kajus. You can see the Kama Kaju, you can see the Drukpa Kaju, you can see the Tanung Kaju, you can see the Drikung Kaju, you can see the Parong Kaju. Those all come from the Kamboba. So that way it's called the Tabu Kaju. Tabu means the Kamboba's, place name. You give the teaching of the completely liberated, the fortunate one of the Jambudvipa, all of the holy Dharma, the doctrine of the Buddha of the 3 times, and a profound path condensed into the 5 parts about my head to posture to the Lord Drikung. So I think this is Jidin Sumgun. So Jidin Sumgun put all the practice aspect of the into the 5-fold path. Mahamudra, called the 5 path Mahamudra, like Bodhicitta, Deity Yoga, Guru Yoga, Mahamudra itself, and dedication.
So the 5-fold path is developed by methodology developed by Tsultrim Tenzin?
Actually from Pamontuba, but Jidin Sumgun more established on that.
Okay.
It's originally from Pamontuba's teaching. So even in the Drukpa Kaju tradition, we said Mahamudra is like a lion, but the 5-fold path is like an eye. If Mahamudra is without the 5-fold path, it's becoming like blind lion. In the Drukpa Kaju tradition also used. So this is originally came from the Pamontuba's teachings. I think Pamontuba was the main teacher who established in the 5-fold path tradition, but in the Jidin Sumgun more expanded, more practical, like step-by-step practice. He created this. So that way, Lord Drikung means the Jidin Sumgun. Glorious Sarahasa, true Vajatara, know as a land of the noble Dharmakirti. You are the supreme master among the master of the learning and accomplishment of the Jambudvipa. To you who show one's primordial inner nature apostate. So his root guru. Why the Hotilana just root guru is the Rizhichara. There is only Rizhichara receive him teaching? No, but Rizhichara show him his nature of mind. So through the Rinpoche's instruction, Lotile Naja have a direct realization of his own nature of mind. That way Rinpoche is a root guru. You know, like a Marba, he have many gurus. Especially, he is the main teacher of the Mahamudra was a Mitipa. But he saw the direct nature of mind from Naroba's instruction. That way, he always count as a Naroba as his main teacher. He always, every Vajar song, he said, my main teacher as a Naroba, and after that, Mitipa. He also count that way. So that is showing as a Tilanaje also he saw his nature of mind. His nature of mind is appointed by the this what called the Dharmakirti. That way Dharmakirti is becoming his root guru. So lots of people asking who's my root guru. So anyone show you, and through that person's instruction, when you see your nature of your mind, and that is your root guru. Until that, you not find your root guru. So you have to search continually your root guru. One day, from one individual's instruction, you will have experience of the nature of mind. That is your root guru. Make sense? By the light of the sun, which is your excellent speech, the lotus garden of the definitive meaning bloom, causing nectar of the nectar to flow by merely tasting it, flowing in honey and experiencing the meaning of the mind. This word have been composed. So this is a poem, you know, sun, lotus, and from the lotus to be, take the essence of the lotus and make the honey and make taste so sweet. So that is all together they put the poem. Regarding Vajradhara Dharmakirti, he is the embodiment of all the Buddha and Bodhisattva of the 3 times. Knowledge, compassion, and primordial wisdom is a form that of the glorious Lama, the holy, completely Buddha, known as the Dharmakirti. He is a guardian, admit the embodiment of the various great beings who are supreme emanation and also known as a supreme path and the traverse the path of the Buddha as the essence of the Sudra and the Tantra and the Shastras. The experiencing the realization of the Lama's precious Kagyu lineage from the Bhagavan great Vajradhara up until the present continue unbroken especially the essence of the mind of the Lord of the beings and the glorious Pamadrupa as was Lord Jidasumgun and his heart essence son, those are quickly path to the actualizing the Buddhahood in the one lifetime for the fortunate beings. So fortunate beings, you need a great merit, great opportunity, great fortune to have received that one. Even you don't have those all your own good merit and devotion and those all necessary condition, even you receive those, you're not going to reach to the nirvana one lifetime. So only fortunate one. So fortunate one is not just accidentally happen. Fortunate one is not just only like someone just pick up the favorable, Fortunate one is someone who have a many lifetime practice, experience, build a habituate, yeah. So that one is becoming, I think, fortunate one. I think, out of the blue moon, no one going to become, Buddha, just without any kind of cause and condition. Then if that is possible, then we are contradicting Buddha's teachings. Yeah, so that way, fortunate one means that. From the training of the Dharma will of the fivefold Mahamudra, I have writing here whatever part I was able to comprehend it through my intellect. The arrangement of this treatise into the essential point of the body, of this essential point of the mind, and according with the true purpose. So practice need the essential point of the mind and the essential point of the body. So first is essential point of the body. How to can become a good practitioner. So you have to train your body. Become, is in the Tibetan is called the Xinjiang. Xinjiang means the flexible. Like your body is your own control. Right now, our body is not our own control. Yeah. After we sit a little while, we pain everywhere. Our knee is a pain, our back is a pain. That means you're out of control. Really. So body is, so the how to become that flexible is it by learning how to sit at the seven posture of Buddha Bharojana. You know, so that is a essential point of the body, because lots of time people may think body nothing have to do with the meditation. I want to learn the meditate. I don't want to learn the exercise, because our body and mind function together. They're not separate. Longest the body is, mind is inside the body. Body is the support for the mind. Body support is really important for the mind, because whatever goes with the body, mind react that way. So that way, when body is really extremely suffering or extremely difficulty, and the mind cannot be trained as a meditation or anything, so need physically support is necessary, because reason is a body is a kind of a structure of a channel. Body means the structure of channel. Can say structure of channel?
It's the structure that supports the channel.
Yeah, so body is full of channel, basically. That channel is a full of air. Then because of the channel and air, mind function in the body. When the air is blocked and the body become dead, and mind cannot access there anymore. So that way, longest this mind with this body, the both support is important. Essential point of the body and essential point of the mind. So here we call the seven posture of Buddha Bharojana. I think why it's called the Buddha Bharojana, I think I mentioned this before. Reason is Buddha Bharojana is the embodiment of all the enlightened body. Amitabha is the embodiment of speech. Akshobhya is the embodiment of the mind. Ranasambhava is the embodiment of the quality, and Amagasiddhi is the embodiment of the all enlightened activities. So that way, the seven posture of Buddha Bharojana means that when you sit this seven posture, you will reach to the Buddha's body by learning this one. That way is why it's called. And I mean, like a leg cross or Vajra posture, hand is a meditation posture, and spine is a straight, shoulder is open, and chest is slightly, neck is slightly toward to the bend, and eye gaze on the nose, and tongue touch to the palate. And lip as a nature open, or lip and teeth lip as a nature. On this, Pamadrupa, he add two more, generation stage and completion stage. So in the Pamadrupa said 9 essential point of the body. Yeah, those. So the point is mainly is, so those are especially 7 postures of the Bharajana. We have to learn that is a physically training, Then once physically trained, then mind is becoming easier to train. So that way, then those two are okay according to the true purpose. What is true purpose? Self, ourself reach to the nirvana. So two purposes, two subject. I think it's just talking about the two subject. So regarding the first, one comfortable seat on the isolated spot. I think isolated place is better, yeah. Remote area or place. One's feet in the Vajra posture, strengthening the spine, spread the shoulder. Actually, shoulder more like open. Yeah, push back. It's like if you see the Tibetan vulture laying on the ground, it's like a shoulder like that. And Pamutrava himself said, this is all this practice as a 7 posture is really mainly is bringing to the our wind element to the central channel, and especially this shoulder open. He said it really helped to not get what called this kind of stress,
agitated mind.
Yeah, some kind of agitated mind, especially in called the lungne, wind disease. Yeah. Wind disease is a kind of like and some people start hearing things, seeing things, and those all come from that one. So he said, should open the chest. Yeah, that is especially that shoulder opening.
Long temper, vulture, and flight.
Oh. And tuck the chin slightly, place the 2 hands and the equipoise in the meditation. Place the tongue on the top palate, and then let the gaze fall to the tip of the nose. One should practice this as a 7 posture of Bharajana. Regarding the second, so there's a 2. There's regarding the second. 3 generations instruction of the preliminary, the main practice, and conclusions. So first has the general instruction has a 3 part: the common, uncommon, and special preliminaries. So I think this common is a word is better, yeah, for the preliminary practice. Oh, Toiling is asking what is reading. I'm reading from the word of Dharmakirti, the book, and I think on the
It's on the website.
in the website. Yes, you can check on the TMC website. You're welcome. Okay, so chapter 1. Common preliminary practice. Common preliminary is a remedy for the attachment of this life that contemplate on the difficulty of attainment, of leisure in endowment. Remedy for the endurance of the laziness is the complete contemplation of the impermanence and death. To accomplishing the purpose of this precious human body with leisure and endowment, one contemplate the karma and cause and effect as of action. The remedy of the dwelling on the happiness of the samsaras, contemplation of the false of samsara. So this, most of the time, we have this false, these obstacles. We're not reaching to the nirvana because we being attached to that this one, and the jewel ornament is a little bit different. In the jewel ornament, is being attached to this life's activity, meditation on the impermanent. Being attached to the samsara's meditation on the falls of samsara. So a little bit different in the jewel ornament, but I mean, each one have their own style, their own, So this is the Dharmakirti, this is on way too. So we have to follow with that way. So you can say Dharmakirti said this way. So remedy for the attachment of this life. So sometimes we have a wrong way attached. Yeah, attachment with the sometimes is a mistaken attachment. How to mistaken attachments is like you have really nice food or anything nice object. You so attached that you couldn't use. And you keep them. So who's going to use that one? After you're dead, someone will use. But you are so stingy that you couldn't use that one. That's a wrong way to attachment. Make sense? If you have something that you really like, you should use. You enjoy with. I think lots of people have this, if you have really expensive jewelry or something, expensive things, you just hide, lock somewhere. You barely see that. Forget about the using. Make sense? So that's the wrong way to attach. So similarly, sometimes we have this kind of attachment to the body, so we don't want to use that one. But actually, body and a car and those lots of things are same in the house, those are same. If you use, it become more healthier. If you not use, it become a damage or what called become a bad. More using is better actually. Make sense? Yeah. So like if you do that, some exercise, routine exercise, you feel nothing. But when you haven't done for a long time and then you try to do, next day you will be pain everywhere. So that way, sometimes we have a wrong way to attach, wrong way to cherish, can say? Wrong way to cherish. So that is a mistaken. So that is if you have that kind of a cherish, it means the attachment, then you should meditate on the precious human life. You have to recognize its preciousness. If you don't know the preciousness, then you don't know that your own value. If you don't know that your own value, you don't know how to use it. So you have to know your own value. So how to know is your value, as he said, the remedy of the precious human life. Why is called the precious? So that way earlier I mentioned here, the precious human body. What makes us precious? We have to think about that. So lots of people think my body is precious. Your body is not precious. Really, there are nothing that you can say this is precious. Animal, when they died, some part of the body useful. But when human died, there nothing can use, nothing they're useful. Except maybe you keep the skull cap or thigh bone. Other than that, there's nothing really useful in the human body. Animal after the death, you can sell, make money. Human, you have to pay money to get rid of it. So physically, there's not really nothing that can call this is precious, expensive. So that way Shantideva said, human body is actually leather bag of a filthy. They're nothing precious, they're nothing clean. So that way we have to know that what is the precious human life. So this is a meditation by knowing, okay, how to meditate, is it? No? Now you have to say, you are free from those 8 unfavorable conditions to practice Dharma. What are the 8? It's a hell realm, hungry ghost realm, animal realm, bordering country. Bordering country means that there's no Dharma. It's basically spiritually border, mean that no Dharma. Long life God realm, especially there's one God. They don't have that conscious awareness, really, the one particular God. Holding the wrong view, so long as you hold the wrong view, you have a body, it doesn't matter, you have a precious human body, or you never become a precious. Living at the time of the absence of the Buddha, so like a, in this time, we have a Buddha's teaching still exists. But after this eon, many eons, there's no Buddha teachings. Many eons, there will be no Buddha teachings. Like right now. So that's why this is called the fortunate eon. Because in this eon, 1,000 Buddha will come and give teachings. Next 30 some eons, there's no Buddha. So Buddha is not come all time. Even this fortunate eon, there's a gap from the A Buddha to B Buddha. Like Shakyamuni Buddha's teaching still exists, yeah? One day this teaching will disappear. Then until Maitreya Buddha comes, there's a huge gap. Actually, a long gap. It's not right why Buddha Maitreya comes. No, it's not going to come. We have to wait a long time. How long we have to wait is a count this way. From the 10 years old living to increasing to the 80,000, yeah, the lifespan. How to increasing is every 100 years, 1 year increase. How long take from the 10 year to 80,000? Every 100 year, 1 year increase.
Okay. So every century counts as one.
Yeah, every century, 1 year increase. How many centuries take to the 10 to 80,000? So that long, no teachings, absence of the Buddha. Because of Shakyamuni Buddha's teachings disappear at that time. The Maitreya actually not yet come. So there can be long period of time, even this fortunate eon, long period of time, there's no Buddha. Makes sense? So we are really fortunate one, have received teaching, have chance to do, sometimes we take too light. Our luck, our fortune, so we take too light. We take, oh, this is easy. We couldn't see the preciousness. So that way you have to see this precious. When you look that circumstance, then we are the precious one. Make sense? Then you can see your own value. Absence of the Buddha. Being mute, it means that especially mentally mute. Physically mute is a low karma, but especially mentally mute. Abiding in the state of unfavorable for the practice of the Dharma. So those are unfavorable to the practice Dharma. If we are one of those, then we have no opportunity, we have no chance to can practice the Dharma. So we are not on those 8 unfavorable life, unfavorable, can say, realm of beings. So that way we are fortunate one. That fortunate one is a precious. So that way, when Milarepa meet with a hunter, Milarepa said to a hunter, generally precious human life is really difficult, but not a person like you. Because the people saying, oh, there's a precious human life is not difficult because we have a world population problem. all the public beings are not really precious. Make sense? So if one has attained the human body, being born in the central country, it means the where's the Dharma, which is the Mahayana has a spread, mean the teaching, has a one's sense faculty, so mean that your sense faculty, you can hear, you can sense of understand, so all good, has not violated the limitless of a karma. It means the heinous crime, like killing father, killing mother, killing arhat. Kind of beings have no, in this life, you have no chance to liberate it or reach nirvana. Yeah. So that way. And has a devotion for the teaching of the right place. Is the right place is the three jewels. It means the right place. Nelate. Nelate is ne mean the right object. Right place, right object. What is that is the right place? Is it three jewels? But you have to remember this one. This devotion to the the teaching is a three jewels, because sometimes this explained as a Vinaya, sometimes as a three jewels. But one thing is you have to know, so those two are not that much different. Why? Vinaya means the nirvana. I mean, seeking to the liberation from the renunciation. Taking refuge means the seeking to the liberation from the renunciation. So actually those are same. You can name as a individual liberation, or you can name as a refuge. Both are same as a try to see the reach to the nirvana. So this commentary, some commentary use as a this one as a refuge. Some use as a individual liberation vows. These are the 5 endowments related to the oneself. So yourself need those favorable conditions. If the Buddha has appeared in the world, has a precious Dharma has been taught and teaching remain, if there are a follower of the Dharma who continue to practice, this is talking about the teacher. If there's a loving kindness and support by the others. So this here said example of a emulate. What is emulate?
One of others, for example, hold on, let me find it. If there are followers of Dharma who continue to introduce loving kindness, support by others, an example of emulate.
What is
copy? Copy.
It's not mistake. It's a provider. Should cross
Provide
that.
Or provide?
Provider. Provider.
Got it.
Sponsor. So there's a from your own, have to be being human, have to be born with the Dharma. 2, yeah, have a sense faculty, all complete. 3, and not commit heinous crime. 4, and have a devotion to the 3 jewels from your side condition. From other outside favorable condition, as a Buddha comes. Sometimes Buddha comes but not giving teachings. Okay, Buddha comes, 1, giving teaching, 2, but sometimes even that teaching is not less long. So teaching still remain, like right now Buddha came and Mahaparinirvana reached to the long time ago, but teaching still exists. Then the follower of the teaching, it means that someone who following. If there's no one is following that teachings, you cannot receive that teaching from anywhere. So that is talking about the teacher. Yeah. Then last one is a provider, someone financially support you. So those are the from the endowment of the self. Mayan spiritual master, and these are the 5 endowments based on the other. recognition of this as a method of a contemplation on the difficulty of obtaining freedom and advantage. So you have to recognize this one. We, sometimes we just not can say non-mindfulness. Yeah. Also sometimes we say, oh, this is just normal, this is easy, this is we're not really seeing the value of that favorable condition what we have. So, and with this, all those favorable condition, still we're not practicing, like saying, as an example, margin, go to the Jewel Island. Yeah, Jewelry Island, and see all those jewels, beautiful jewels. And after seeing all those jewels, go back empty hand. What people will say from the hometown? Yeah, people not going to say, oh, you had a wonderful time, welcome back. They're not going to say to you, you're an idiot, where you didn't bring any of those jewels since you already saw them. So if we're not practicing Dharma, we're not utilizing this precious then we are same as going to the Jewel Island and not bringing any of jewels back, coming back empty hand. Make sense? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like you have nothing to eat in your home, and you go to grocery and look around in the grocery and come back without buying any of the food.
Khenpo, the word emulate previously in the last set of teachings, you defined it as the spiritual sponsor.
Yeah. Provider. When Milarepa was doing the 9 years, he was eating only nettle. And finally, after 9 years, and his sister and his girlfriend came, bring to the nutrition food, human food. Then he had a great experience. So then finally he said, that's really true. That saying is a yogi who meditating on the mountain and a person who providing food from the village, they become Buddhahood together. I think that he said that's really true. So that way provider is a necessity. More of, but in the Gamboba said, practitioner, if you start pleasing to your provider, then you're going to wrong place. You're wrong path. Start pleasing to your provider.
Like teaching them
whatever they are, so you try to make them happy, So that's a Dharma practitioner shouldn't be like that. Okay. Moreover, the method of how to be difficulty obtaining this freedom and advantage. Example, if a turtle living in the depth of the ocean surface, once every 100 years, a possibility he would come up. Possibility he would put his neck through the once hold wooden yoke, which never remain in one place, and is being blown out by the wind. It's not more difficulty than it is attaining the precious human birth in the samsara from the lower realm. This is how difficult it is to be taught to obtaining the precious human birth. There are many examples like this. So this one is become a human, especially from the lower realm, is really difficult. I think I will explain that maybe this one explain the next one. Example, then cause. Since the cause of obtaining precious human body is the accumulation of the merit, such as keeping the excellent moral ethic, it is difficult to obtain by that cause. Now, if the precious human body is obtained by cause of a precious human body is a pure moral ethic, who live with the righteous, would live with the ethical. So that kind of a being is difficult to find in the animal, hungry ghosts, and hell realm, because their afflictive emotions really strong. They don't have a good chance to accumulate the merit. So that way, coming back from the to low realm is really difficult, especially from the animal realm.
Yeah.
Because the animal realm is full of afflictive emotion, particularly ignorance. So that reason is how hard to difficult to come back. This is not, the example is not talking about the human to human difficult. Human to human, not that difficult. But once we fall down lower, coming back is really difficult. So that way we have to be careful. Even now reach to the nirvana, it is okay. Long as we reach to the next life is a back human, we still have chance to practice Dharma. Make sense?
Yes.
But once born to the lower realm, coming back is really difficult. Look, those animals. We human beings make mistake, but at the same time we have a sense of feel guilty. We recognize what is right, what is wrong most of the time. Not everyone, but some are worse than animals. But animal doesn't have that sense, I think. They don't have a recognition of this is right, this is wrong, this is a virtue, this is non-virtue. Especially animal doesn't have that. So I think that's harder to say. But I mean, we cannot talk about the animal because we don't know how they feel, how they think. But generally can say they cannot recognize it as this is virtue, this is non-virtue. Of course, there's a lot of compassionate animal. Some extraordinary animals, and they have a great sense. So animals have lots of good quality, but when it comes to the sense of virtue and non-virtue, I think they have really lack of understanding on that. That way I said animal is ignorance. Just general things, I think animals are much smarter than human beings. We need animal to survive, but animal doesn't need us. Really. Our ecosystem have to rely on the animals. Animal ecosystem not need to rely on the human. So humans are actually useless one, except can practice the Dharma. So if we not do that one, then we are really truly useless. Okay, so because of the cause, it's really difficult. That way coming back from the low realm to human is really difficult. Enumerations, there are many beings in the hell realms. There are items in the great earth. There are many hungry ghosts beings. There are the snowflake in the bliss. There are many animals living in the depth of the ocean. There are grain of the melt barley in the vat of Chang. I think you have that too. Yeah, bear. When you make a bear, yeah. The wheat, yeah, the whatever is in the what called this?
What do you call it? A vat? I don't know. A vat.
Yeah, it's full of grain. Yeah, full of wheat. That what called this? Yeah, in Tibet we put the chang in the pot and put water in there, then that is becoming chang. So that is talking about. So it's pretty much full with that grain in the pot. It's pretty much full with the grain. So animal in the ocean is like that. There are grain of the melt barley and the chung, such is the taught. Scatter animals, it means the living on the ground, or it's I think called a mammal. Yeah, mammals. I think this such as an insect and a honeybee, and consider how many are just these are be how high unlikely then is possible of the obtaining the precious human birth. So when looked at compared to the number, and said if you compare to the how many start in the daytime and how many start in the nighttime, compared to the number, same as an animal and human. From one house area, one around that one house, I think we can find in the summer, we can find like more number of being like insect and being then whole human population around one area. Yeah. So that way, even the scattered ones is if we will compare to their snow. Yung Barma Pajara Paramida to call the 20,000 verse shloka. It's difficult even to obtain the human body. What can be said to be about difficult to obtaining the abundance of the leisure? So perfect leisure. So just being human is really difficult. There's no question about that. Have a human life with a pressure, what called the leisure in endowment. That's said on the Bodhicitta Jayavadara. Leisure endowments so extremely difficult to obtain. Accomplishing the purpose of the human life, if one does not achieve the benefit from them now, how could this opportunity come again? So this right now we have this great opportunity to fulfill some accomplishment from this human life. If we don't do that one, we're not utilizing this one, and the next time we will have this one. It's difficult to say when we'll have, difficult to say. So it said, appearance of the Tathagata, obtaining the devotion and the human body, being thus accustomed to be practiced, the virtues are ready. Will this be obtained again? So Buddha coming to this earth is not obtained. Like as I mentioned, Shakyamuni Buddha to the Maitreya Buddhas took long time. There's no Buddha. So we say is according to the teaching, saying is a Buddha's teaching only remain to the like 5,000 years on the earth. So now it's already like 2,500 years. So half is already gone.
3,000.
Yeah. So then how long will be there? From that teaching disappear to until Maitreya comes. Long period of time, there's no really directly some Buddha come to teach Dharma. Make sense? So that way, it's a coming to the Buddha is not like obtains. Because it's extremely difficult to obtain this body with the aiding leisure in endowment and partially example, these are the essential point regarding the attainment of the precious human body. Because this body has the leisure endowment, has the power to attain the happiness of the rebirth in the higher realm, and according to the way that attaining such a body can accomplish in the great purpose, meditate from this depth of your heart and thought is a necessity to accomplishing holy Dharma. So traditionally, just reach on this subject, and some meditate on this for a month. Some meditate on this just only on this once a year. But number is not that important. Mostly it's until it how to say
integrate
into the depth of your heart. rise on the depth of your heart, not on the surface, not the surface of the heart. It's the depth of the heart. Surface of the heart means that you just know the word. That's easy. But for that, first you have to memorize all those numbers. Then once you memorize it, then you contemplate on that, recognizing that yourself, how precious you are, and how precious it is, and how difficult to find it is, and how rarely find it is. We have to recognize that one. So basically, being born in the human is really difficult. And especially being born human and have a kind of like connection with the Dharma is really difficult. And really especially, can say especially, yes, I'm saying too much especially. That devotion, coming devotion from the depth of your heart and trust, that is a really, rarely, because those reaching those need a great merit, support of the great merit. So there's one Indian master called the Aryadeva. I think Aryadeva said, being who are lack of the merit, even not going to doubt on the Dharma. Even having doubt need great support of a merit. So then devotion, faith, having no question for that. Make sense? So until reach that one should be meditate on this. So traditionally, they not go second subject until you really truly meditate and try to establishing some degree of a sense of depth of your heart. You not, but I think today we will talk all the 4 subjects. Then 2 weeks you contemplate on that. Because truth is, I did this in the retreat, okay? But when you are in the retreat, in these 4 subjects, first few days you feel like something, you're meditating, then after the few days, actually it become kind of like a what called normalcy, feeling of, can say normalcy, yeah, and just that's that I know that's what. And you don't have a sense of that from the feeling not come. But then after the retreat finish, then actually daily life, when you whatever you have, then you reflect on those 4 training of the mind, it really feel you, it really sense you. Then it get to the depth of your heart. For me, I actually have a better can say experience or better benefit from this 4 training of the mind meditation is after the retreat, then during the retreat. Because during the retreat, actually truly is after the few days, then it become like a used to, can say, like everyday things. Not much come to feeling on that. But when the reality of the life, then when you apply that one with your, then it totally different. So that way, maybe we just go through the all 4, then we'll see. So then said, second one here said, antidote of the different of the laziness, indifference of the laziness, contemplating on the impermanence. Here, on the so it said, nature of the anything compound is impermanent, and then decay, the death is sudden for all those who are born. Time to death is unsure. It's like the dewdrop on the blade of the grass. Now is the time to quickly put effort toward to the essential meaning. So we definitely going to die, but we don't know when we're going to die. That is a problem, We plan, we put the money for lots of people do that, money for the retirement. But you don't have guarantee of that you're going to use those all money for your retirement, because I'm not sure everybody have a chance to can retire. Yeah, people who have chance to retire, they are lucky one. So that we have to think about the death impermanent. This precious human body has a leisure endowment and it's extremely difficult to obtain possess the great meaning. However, it's unreliable because it's a ephemeral nature. Ephemeral nature means that short. Yeah, something is a really short time. Nature so contemplation on the death and impermanence has three parts. So to have to think. In the past, there are no one who remained and did not die. You're not going to find anyone. Everybody said Pema Samba was reached to the, what called the immortal. And lots of Western, story, there's immortal things talking about the Greek, especially Greek. They talk about the immortal things. But no matter how much we talk about their story, we couldn't see right now. Those immortal ones, all gone. That like a Milareva's body, hunter, they tried to destroy him on the water, on the clay, tried to try to burn him. Nothing happened. Yeah, he come back, same place, but then some point he's also dead. So there's no one that we can, evidence that can say, no, death is not everyone, because there's someone who not died. Can say, yeah, so that way is the same. And then there's nothing that is not compounded in this body. So if our body is a non-compounded, one single piece, they can say, possibly can say, yeah, can be not death, because it's not compounded. Because whatever phenomena compounded have to be separate. You cannot make it, no matter how strong you make anything, say one day it will be, look, those medieval castle, how they solid they built. You look the Roman, those buildings. Those rocks are like the size of the building. Each rock look like that no one can destroy them, but all is broken now. Yeah, so whatever compounded have to be. There are no one can be a sudden life force, so forth, because there is no one who can extend a life for the instant longer. Therefore, death is certain. So now the question is, if that is, no one can extend it life, then how come long life puja? How come, those the prayer, long life deity practice. So if you look those long life deities, the prayer said, protect from the untimely death. None of those prayers said protect from the death, because no one can protect from the death. Only they can extend your life. Of course, there's through the Dharma practice, there's definitely some extension comes. Sometimes even your lifespan is assured by the practice of the Dharma, it can reach to the longer. When Rechumba was in India, I think he was only 30 some years old. 30 or 40 some years old. But then the one yogini said, you have only 7 days life. So he received the this, I mean, there's empowerment, he practiced and teaching and practice, and his lifespan is increasing double. So that way he live as 80 or something. So yes, there's some practice that it helped. Definitely it helped. My mom told me when she was born, she was young, there's astrology said her lifespan will be 60 years old. At this age 60, she will die. You know, astrology are accurate, really can tell you lots of things too. But because of the Dharma practice and you know, those her prayer, whatever, and it live much longer. You know, also lots of time genetically we have short life, some genetically, and that's true. My mom's civilian, every one of them died like age 30, 40. Except my uncle and mom, because my uncle was a monk and my mom was nun. Really, I think something have to do with their Dharma practice. If they defeat their genetic. Make sense? So yes, there's some part you can increase it. I'm not saying it's no so, but there's no extension for, you know, forever. So there's a little bit increasing, yes, but now, so that is talking about life longer. Therefore, death is a certain. Moreover, there's no certainty that the time of the death will occur. More frequent of the order to the old first, or then the successively younger. So sometimes younger one died first. You know how many parents burying their children funeral? You know, that's the hardest, you know, for the parents. But sometimes it have to go through that. It happened. It's not like they are unlucky or something. Because sometimes children born with the previous lifespan, extra lifespan. Make sense? Mm-hmm. When they died untimely, someone who died untimely, they were reborn and they live that long. Mm-hmm. So that way, some live in a few weeks, some live in a few months, some live a few years, and death comes. So those are because of that reason. But I mean, so there's no really, you know, certainty who's going to go first. The body, other than the being composed of the, also says that 36 impure substance. So if you want to read, you can read down there all the list of the 36 impure things on your body. Has not slight essence of the hundreds stability or strength. There's nothing that can make the, you know, the body is really solid. There's nothing so fragile. From the loom, the word of the Buddha, some people die by the choking of the mouthful of food. Lala means some are even killed by medicine. What can be said about the unfavorable condition? So like poisons and things like that, you know, weapons definitely kill us. But sometimes some killed by the food, some killed by the medicine. Supposed to be the food and medicine are sustain the body. But sometimes even they become a cause to the death. Yeah. How many people die with the diabetes? How many people die with the blood sugar? Most of this are caused by the food. Yeah. So that way, I think it can possible. As I said, this way there are many causes of the death because there are few conditions that sustain the life, and time of the death as an uncertainty. None of the follower can help as avoiding the death by reflecting on the impermanent nature of the wealth, possession, or have the been a delight diligently occur of the loving one, sympathetic friend, and a relation of one's own cherish. And it's just talking about the relative kind folk. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And nature of a body. So this, if you look those all, none of they cannot protect you from the death. No matter how rich you are, cannot protect you. No matter how smart you are, cannot protect you from the death. You cannot hide. No matter how skillful you are, you cannot run away from the death. No matter how strength you have, you cannot fight back to the death. And no matter how your family love you, no matter how much they love you, they cannot protect you from the one dying. Only what they can do is they just cry. That is struggle. Lord Drikung speaking thus, God, no matter what has been done, nothing will help you avoiding death. At the time of the death, worldly activity are also lie. God, the 8 worldly dharma are like the painted rainbow. Think, can you put your trust in them? Okay, so this. When contemplating this reasonings, previously explained, it is certain to no one is the past has avoiding the death. So this one is a little bit misunderstood, I think, Tessa. Is it not previously explained? Is it? Until now, it's saying, until now, in the I looked at Tibetan, until now, we not died. We are really lucky. We are alive. It's lucky. So like you read in the letter to friend by Nagarjuna said, from the exhale to inhale is a miracle. From the sleep to wake up is a miracle. We have done those, until now. So that is talking about. So this is a translation. Remember. So that is until now we not died because we are lucky one, or we are not. We are fortunate one. That way we still alive. That there's no certainty that we will not die at this moment. Therefore, there's no time of engaging in the destructive activity, accomplish the benefit for the future. Even now, it is a little late. This is a time to generate the great exertion from incomparable Kamboba. In the certain of the death and knowing that nothing remain long, quickly accomplishing the liberation. Impermanent make the departure certain like in the shadow of the setting sun. Abandoning the laziness and indifference, bliss like a fire force diligence. The fire is really, strongly, so that way. Lalita Vastu Sudra said, life is impermanent like the cloud of the autumn sky. The birth of the dead is a being, is like watching the drama. A life of the being is like the lighting in the sky, quicker than the water falling from the steep mountain cliff. It depart. Meditate on that has been taught. So we have to meditate on this impermanent. There's one said in the Bhutan, they call the nation's growth is happiness. Yeah, nation's growth is happiness. So then somebody asks why you're happy, because we think about the death. When you think about the death, you will truly can reach to the some happiness. We're not thinking about the death. That way we're so precious. What called pressure, stress. Yeah. We want more than that. We want better than that. We want bigger than that. So that causes us so much stress. Never be satisfied what we have. Why kind of attitude? Because we never think of death.
In this text, what is not emphasized is that, when we meditate on impermanence, that's really the first introduction to emptiness.
No. If you from the beginning to emptiness, then you will go to the nihilism. That's not healthy. Impermanent will help you to understand the emptiness, not the emptiness. No. Who told you that?
But we can't recognize emptiness without recognizing impermanence.
Yes, that is true. But you don't need emptiness to recognize the impermanent. No, so don't talk about the emptiness. Okay. Yeah, it's not necessary here right now. Emptiness is not, because this is, I think, Tibetan Buddhism problem. Okay, this is a Tibetan Buddhism problem. Everyone reached to the final chapter. Everyone want to read only last chapter. They don't want to read the rest of the how to get there. Every story have a how to reach there. Yeah, you only reading to the where to reach, but you don't read how to reach there. Make sense? Mm-hmm. So only focus in subject to where to reach, where to get, but nobody is focused on to how to get there. Everybody talk about that great, like for example, every religion talk about the it's called the universal love. Yeah, in the Buddhism we call the loving kindness compassion, but no one explain how to reach there. Except Buddhism. That is specialized on the Buddhism too. Teaching is how to reach that state. So lots of Tibetan Buddhism practitioner, especially in the Western, is said immediately, there's a different, maybe I don't know, different in the West and in the Tibetan people. Like in Tibetan people, when sent to the kids to the monastery, but they said, okay, go to the monastery, learn the Dharma. The Westerner said, okay, go to the temple, meditate. If you don't know what you meditated, then where are you going to meditate? That's different. So that way, first, if from the always a jump to there, you will get nowhere. So don't talk about the emptiness here. Yes, impermanent is the source of emptiness. I understand. Impermanent, understand the impermanent, bring into the realization of emptiness. No question about that. But you don't need to think about the emptiness when you are meditating on the impermanent. It's not healthy. Then you become a cuckoo.
I already am. You made me cuckoo.
Okay. I'm sorry, Dad.
That's teasing.
Now, okay. So then, the next one said, in order to make the body of the freedom and endowment meaningful, contemplate on the cause and effect. It's called the karma. Through virtuous happiness, attaining the suffering as the fruit of the opposite. Everything results from cause. Therefore, cause and effect is the unerring nature. Unerring nature.
Yeah, I don't know where you are. That's why.
Innate law. From now on, I will I want to preserve in what is should be adopt and what should be given up. I'm reading from the one translation of a Ngondro prayer text. Okay, I don't know. This is the same translation or not. The Tibetan is the same. Since death is inevitable, it means that cannot avoid. Yeah? Because of its impermanent nature, result of the present positive and negative action will follow one's consciousness. One is certain to be experiencing their fruition as happiness or suffering. Therefore, there are 3 points are contemplate: karma, recognition of the non-virtue action, recognition of the virtue action, along with the classification of both their fruit and so forth, are contemplation of the immovable karma. So there's a divided into the 3: virtue, non-virtue, and here said immovable, yeah, immovable karma. Sometimes it's called the unshakable karma. Sometimes unshakable. Yeah, karma is reborn in us human realm or a god realm, but human realm and a god realm always be not with a result of the virtue. Sometimes there's a suffering too. You know, the circumstance can change. But immovable or unshakable karma is come from the result of the meditative absorption. From the meditative absorption to reach to the or form. So once you born in the state of the form realm and formless realm, change comes. The result will remain equal, same until your death comes. Lifespan is until lifespan is end, result will remain same. That way it's called the unshakable. But like for example, human, we are born in the human realm because of the good karma, virtuous karma, yeah. But sometimes we're suffering, sometimes we're happy, sometimes we joy, sometimes we're miserable, and all changeable comes. Those change come in the form and desire realm, but in the form realm, once you reach to that form realm is reborn there, until your lifespan is end, the result of that is a metric absorptions. The result of that is never change. It's called the unshakables. Both are virtuous karma. Both are virtue, but one is because there can be change. Shakeable. Shakeable means that, not necessarily always remain same way. But another one is never change that one. So that way, even it's the same as a virtuous karma, one is because of the is shakeable. So that way just use as virtuous karma. One is unshakable. Can say unshakable?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that way it's called the immobile karma. So just remember that one, because you see this one lots of time. Those 3 karmas, yeah, good karma, bad karma, and unshakable karma. Yeah, so unshakable karma means that once you born there, never will change. The first 10 non-virtuous actions, cause of this, there are the actions of body, taking life, taking what is not giving, sexual misconduct, and 4 action of speech, lying, divisive speech, idle talk, and harsh word, and the 3 action mind, covetousness, harmful thought, and wrong view. There are 4 result of this non-virtuous: fruition, separation, cause of separation from happiness. There will be once born, and the fruition of the rapine causing one's fall into the 3 low realm. The fruition of the similar is a cause in the 2 action. So so fruition of the separation means from that karma to what's you separating. See, when you do the negative karma, you are separate from the happiness. When you do the positive karma, you are separate from the unhappiness. Make sense? That is what is a separation karma. And second one is said fruition of the rapine. It sometimes Khenpo Rinpoche translate as a maturation. Maturations. Cause ones fall into the three low realms. So in the negative one, right now negative talk about fruition of the similar two sections. Acting similarly at the action that was in the cause, acting in the according with the tendencies, yeah, from a previous life, such as taking joy in the practice of the non-virtue. So acting similarly means that you like to do similar things, what you have done in the past. I think that's true because some people have no problem to any of, financially, but they like to stealing. I saw that one. Some people they no need, but they just take. That is a similarly act from the past lives. Even in this life, you don't need, but you become like that. Where the result of the experience is similar to cause is concerned, even once is born in the higher realm, one has to be order of experience in the corresponding to the cause, such as a short life, like killing from the killing. Even you born in the human, you become a short life. Bereft, what is bereft of the wealth?
Bereft of wealth.
Yeah, it means that no wealth. So like poor, losing one's husband or wife to another. So from the what called that sexual misconduct. Contain change. A constant change by lying. Separation from the kith and kin by divisive speech. Untrustworthy speech by idle talk. Always be hearing unpleasant word by harsh word. Great desire for things which do not come to the hand is a covetousness, and being harmed by all is a harmful thought, and having wrong view is a from the wrong view, having separate from the Dharma. Under the power of this fruition, one will be ordered to be born in the unauspicious country where there is a little dignity. There will be much force and hell. One will be live in the place with the more dust than the normal. Food will be unpalatable, like no taste good. And inconstant, the ground will be uneven. Time of the summer and the winter will be reversed, hot and savage country, and so forth. Country where grain is sparse and bad food is a coarse, as a bitter. The fruit does not grow when planted. So these are the place have this kind of problem when we're born. That one is a result of those 10 non-virtues. Even we're born. Basically, why is it saying is similarly is generally 10 non-virtues. Result of the 10 non-virtues, we will born to the lower realms. Okay, if you read the jewel ornament, so like killing is related to the anger, yeah. So it will born to the hell realms. And stealing is related to the attachment. So we will born to the hungry ghosts. Sexual misconduct is attachment. So reborn in the hungry ghosts. So things like that. Also those afflict emotion, which is related to the the negative karma, 10 non-virtue, which is related to the 3 afflicted emotion, and the result will be attachment. Related to the attachment will be born in the hungry ghost. Related to the ignorant will be born in the animal realm. Related to the hate, aversion or hatred will be born in the hell realms. Or if you do any of 10 non-virtues greatly, like a huge amount, go to the born to the hell realm. And medium is a hungry ghost, and smaller is a so the number wise or the background of the emotion wise, you can be have 3 low realms. So that is a kind of the maturation, the coming maturation. But similar is even you not born in the low realm because of the other good merit, you born in the human realm back, but then you have this circumstance the similarly have conditioned those. Second, top to the abandon the 10 non-virtues are 10 non-virtues action as constitute the having saving life. So to talk about the virtues, saving life, giving generosity, practice pure morality, speaking the truth. Speaking truth have to be careful. Sometimes truth hurtful. Reconciling the disharmony of the others. There's a one in the Vinaya. There's a really difficult, there's the incident. One monk is in the forest. So that the military chasing one thief, okay, and that thief walk the monks retreat hut next to, they run this way. They come after, they ask to the monk, have you seen the thief? So now the monk have to be careful. He cannot say I didn't see because he lying. He said, he said, oh, I saw he ran this way, then he harmed that thief. So Buddha said, you have to, that time you have to use as a, some kind of skill. So skill is what you're talking about. Who at the by time, who are you asking? You asking sky, you asking, the hand, or you asking? So like kind of, like by time. And they said, and finally you can say, so ultimately I see nothing because he's not lying. Ultimately there's nothing can see. Yeah. So you cannot actually tell the truth at that time. So you have to be careful telling truth also, because every truth also harmful. Lots of truth is it can be harm someone else. So then you have to use the ultimate. Ultimately, I see nothing. Make sense? So telling truth also, you have to be careful. Reconciling the disharmony of the others, speaking the purposefully, speaking peacefully word, joyful giving, trusting on the complete truth, love, causality, and so forth, as establishing the correct view. So basically, avoiding the 10 non-virtue is the virtue. On that, then you can do extrally on these things, these 10. Make sense? Where are we now?
The fruition of separation from these is to be free from suffering. We are on page 12.
Separation from this as the free from the sufferings. If one little strength of the result is a human birth, if a middle one is born in the desired God realm, and the great one is born in the from the God realm, form God realm. This is I'm not sure. Because reborn in the form God realm, you have to have meditative absorption. Just having good merit, I don't think so, but I don't know. That's the Rizichyuta said. So I don't know. If one has a renunciation on the born as a Sharvaka or Padikya Buddha, so I told you that renunciation is important. If one is maintained as a Bodhicitta, one obtains the state of the Buddhahood. So 10 non-virtue is the same, but which is the what circumstance or what condition make them different result. So basically, avoiding the 10 non-virtue or practicing the 10 virtue as a just generally can be born in that human realm, a samsara higher rebirth. But if supported by the renunciation, can reborn in the nirvana, Shavaka Patija Buddha. If supported by bodhicitta, then possible to can be born to the Buddhahood. Concerning fruition of the similar cause of the activity, corresponding cause will result in one being happy, avoiding killing, delight with the practice of the virtue. Concerning as the experience of the similar cause of one will be have a long life, come and wealthy, and so forth, will opposite non-virtue similar cause. Under the power of the fruition of one will be born in the auspicious and harmonious place, and so forth. Reverse those actions previously described. Furthermore, differentiating, how to say this? Differentiating between those that are white and those are the weighty and lighter. All the done repeatedly and with a powerful intention and behavior without a remedy such as a regret and so forth. So it can be becoming great in a heavy negative or heavy positive if this kind of condition. Yeah, so even action is the same. Rapidity of this action become heavier according to the object, but those possess of the quality is like 3 jewels, and the possessor of the love in one is a mother and father. So also, even you don't have this, what called the powerful intention or something, but if you did this with a virtue or non-virtue object, that as a 3 jewel or your parent or someone is kind one, and the negative is or positive action is becoming more powerful, can say greater result come from there. Karma of the non-transferability is the realization that all the phenomena are merely one's own conception. Moreover, like the space, like they are nothing whatsoever, neither present nor absence. So this is the 4 formless realm. Fruition of this is a reborn as a possess of the formless absorption, such as a limitless conceptual and so forth. And third is a mode of the ripening of the fruit. The karma fruition will be experienced this lifetime. This life will be exhausted in the past life and action and their effect and the next life. And then one will be experienced the fruition of this life action. This will call the experience the after next birth. Karma which become experience as a scene. So first one is this one. This life will be exhausted the past life's action. So that is called the karma of the next after next birth. One may experience in the ripening of the action in the next life or in the second or third rebirth after life or the mini life. Therefore, this is called the karma of the experience in the other lifetimes. So actually there's 3. One is missing here. Ripening in the experience in this life. Sudden karma ripening experience, a strong one actually experience in this life. Okay, and some are experience the next life. Some are experience the other life. There's a three-way. I think this is based on the how strong and how small that way. Regarding order type of the repeating of the virtue action are not dedicated, they are exhausted, destroyed by the regard, anger, and so forth. However, if non-virtue action are exhausted, purifying by the remedy of the confession, joined with the full power and so forth, it is not the certain that one will experience their karmic fruition. In this way, because it is impossible for karma and fruition to be deceptive, one should think about this explanation with a subtle and detailed understanding is necessary to abandon in all the non-virtue and practice whatever virtue can. So good karma can be destroyed before fruition or rapine, like anger, wrong view, some of those without the dedicated. I think even the dedicated, if you have a wrong view, it can be destroyed. If you have wrong view, even dedicated one can be destroyed. But other emotion like anger and that kind of emotion cannot destroy it if you dedicate it, that karma. So that way, always it said, if you read the sadhana, said, dedicated before other thought interrupt. You see, lots of sadhana said in before the dedication, dedicated before other thought interrupts. So before the other thought comes, you must dedicate it here. So because other thought like anger comes before dedication, then that merit can be destroyed. Like Shantideva said, one single moment's anger can destroy the 1,000 eons merit, which is not dedicated. But if you're dedicated, that anger cannot destroy it. Okay. Then also negative karma, you don't have to be always have to be experience the fruit result, because you can destroy them. How do you can destroy is by confessing with the full powers. Power of the remedy, power of the relying, power of the resolve, and power of the regret. There's nothing that you cannot be purified with the four powers. Even heinous crime can be purified with the four powers. That way, Ajata Shadru not need to stay in the hell long time, because he did the power purification. Yeah. So same thing as there's one monk. Before he become a monk, he killed his own mother. But because of the power of the remedy, he born in the hell only short time after that he was born in the 33 gardens. So there's because sometimes we have this concept of, karma is mean that we are handicapped. We cannot do anything. Everything's just, karma. We excuses everything on the karma. Like something that someone's creating everything without your own knowledge. Since we know how to make the bad karma, we must know how to, make a good karma, or since we know how to make the mistake, we must know how to correct that mistake. So how to correcting that mistake is a purification. So now question is, what is the power of the remedy for the purification? Some sutra said, If you recite the 100-syllable mantra without, with single pointed mindly, can purify any kind of heinous crime. And some sutras said, when you meditate on the compassion, you can purify it. Some sutras said, when you meditate on the emptiness, you can purify it. I think all of them are true. So long as you do meritorious activities, it will purify, it become an antidote. Because the more you merit, it becomes stronger, your bad karma will become weaker. Even you have some bad karma, they're not going to impact that much to you. If you have really strong good karma. If you don't have a strong good karma, even the small bad karma can destroy you. So long as you accumulate the good karma, and the bad karma will become weaker. Then one day you will meditate on the bodhicitta or emptiness or something that uprooted the bad karma. Then you can be free from completely with bad karma. Make sense? So that is a remedy. But as a karma is we created, so definitely we can fix that one. So meditate on that. From the Mindfulness Sutra, first, fire be cold, yet it's possible. But wind be caught, but by nose, yet it's loose. Noose is possible. For the sun and moon fall on the ground, moreover, it's possible. But karma fruition, it be deceptive, it's impossible. So karma without the fruit, just kind of like a forget, or for loss or something, it's impossible. Karma is like shadow. Sometimes it looks like there's no more shadow. Like when airplane is flying so high, you don't see any shadow on the ground. Yeah. But when you get closer to the ground, shadow is there. So sometimes we maybe look like so far away from the karmic, so we no longer have that shadow of fruition of karma. But it's not gone. When right time comes, it will attack you immediately. They're waiting, They know where are you. They never miss you. They never mistakenly, karma never mistakenly a person's karma to the reach and get to the B. Because this body continuing in the samsara. Long as this body is continuing, shadow of that body will be continuing. Make sense? Same way to karma of that body will be continuing. Never miss. So that way, as the A's karma not ripening to the B. Only that particular aggregate will experience. That aggregate is continuing from this life to next life. Our 5 aggregate will continue. Long as 5 aggregate will continue, we are not free from that karma. It will follow us. Because sometimes people think, long as this life, nobody know what I did, then I'm free. It's not. By the law, you may be free from that because nobody can caught you. Yeah. But karma, they are not going to miss. So that way they say. Further from the sky, robe the life of the Buddha. Rapine karma is inconceivable. Even one who has developed a great compassion, Bodhisattva, can take rebirth in animals. So this one, great compassion Bodhisattva, sometimes born in the animals. Their karma is not same as our karma, powerless karma. Our karma is powerless. Their karma have a power. Make sense? Their karma have their choice they can make, but our karma have no choice. So when we born to the animals, we have no choice. We have no awareness about anything. Just totally ignoring animals. But Bodhisattva were born in the animal, they aware everything. They're not deluded. But still, they born in the animal have some kind of karmic connection. There's no karmic connection whatsoever. They're not going to born in the. Actually, right after this word said, if there's no karma, will not reborn. Those Buddhists right after this is not here mentioned, but Lemena in the Tibetan. If there's no karma, will not rebirth on those Bodhisattva in those animal realms. Buddhicitta Jaya Avadara said, suffering of the mental unhappiness and a variety of tearfulness and separation from that one desire, all arising from the non-virtuous action. Whatever one does with a virtuous action and the mind, or one's mind, whereas that particular individual meaning go to the fruition, suffering will be received. Whatever one does not seek happiness through non-virtue, whatever that particular individual may go, that individual will be by the weapon of sufferings. Therefore, one should have adoration for the virtuous deed and perform them with respect. Further from the King Sudra, okay, instruction to the king. Even if one were king and at the time of the death, one's wealth, spouse, family, friend would not follow. But wherever the individuals may go, his karma follow after him like a shadow. Meted on the in according with what has been taught. Although there is a sudden regard of the karmic fruition in this way of one thing has because one had happiness in this life and the future will take care of itself, then understanding that the matter which birth one take as a sixth realm and a being, there is nothing other than suffering and unhappiness. Okay, so now is the fourth one said, antidote of the clinging to the samsaras being happiness, contemplating the flow of samsara. Okay. See here said in the Ngondro text, there's no instant of happiness in the neither in the three lower realm nor in the higher realm. Therefore, after having give up this root and the root that created the hundred of the shortcoming of the by staying in the samsaric existence, I will practice the excellent path to peace. So now falls of samsara. Falls of samsara is a suffering. There's a hell suffering, hungry ghost suffering, animal suffering, and human suffering, demigod suffering, God realm suffering. I'm going to read two things here today. Human suffering. Because other are not that much related to us. Make sense? Human suffering. I mean, you can read the animals, hell suffering, hungry ghost suffering, animal suffering. Those are knowing is a good, important. But I think why we need to know the human suffering first, because we pursuing happiness, yeah, and we pursuing happiness wrong way. We always assume all those humans' livelihood, like a house, car, all the material things that make us happy. But the human life is generally full of suffering. Yeah, nothing makes us happy. So I think here's suffering of the human realms. The suffering of the human realm, page 19, yes, are the suffering of the birth, old age, sickness, death, and so forth. So we're not born with happily, we're born with the suffering. Yeah. Then we get sick, we get aging. After the birth, we are aging. So then we change, yeah, our life change from the like a baby to become teenager to become an adult to become a, middle age to become a senior to become old. So wherever you are, you think that is not perfect. Next one is better, other one is better. I think that is an example. Is when we were a kid, I think this we can say, when we were a kid, we always think we want to be adult. So kids, aging is really like exciting until you reach to the 20, because they want to be adult. Every kid want to be adult. I don't think so any kid want to stay as a kid. Why? Because they think that when you are adult, you can do whatever you want. That concept, I can say from my own experience. When I was a kid, because I'm the youngest in my family, when I was a kid, I always want to be adult, because then I can order other people and nobody can order me, what to do things, and I can do what they like do. Make sense? Like I can do with them. So that way, when we're kids, we want to be adult. So when, kids, they lie age. How they lie is even they are teenager, they lie to their adult. Lots of kids lie that one because they want to be adult. But when we get older, we lie age again. But now you say to try to make younger. Make sense?
Yeah.
Because we're not pleased by reaching there. So now we should be like those kids, no responsibility, full of freedom. We see that way. So kids think we are free. We think kids are free. Actually, both are not free. Both are suffering, but we're not recognizing that one. Make sense? So that way, in the samsara, no matter where you are, who you are, you're not going to find anyone who are not suffering. Especially human circumstance. You're not going to find anyone fully joy. Rich one have their own suffering. Poor one have their own suffering. Maybe not necessarily the same suffering, but definitely suffering. Yeah. Famous one have their own suffering. Infamous one have, infamous one, they have their own suffering. So everyone have their own degree of suffering, their own way of suffering. So that is showing us a samsara as there's no really truly peace or happiness. So I thought maybe read a little bit from human. Mother's womb is like the being boiled, the roasted of the hot copper vessel. I don't know. When the mother take hot and cold food, drink as it become a boiled water in the eyes head enter into the womb. If a mother feel her stomach is like being crushed by the boulder. If the stomach is empty, it's like the being dangled in the space. When the four limbs are being formed, it's like the being impaled of the stick. When the 9 passages are being opened, it's like the being pressed by the sharp weapon. In addition, at the time of the darkness, nauseating, foul smell, and the thought, I am the person rising at that time of the birth is like the being drawn through the entanglement, the burning iron, which is not cannot be remain. Falling into the ground is like the being cast into the bed, the throne. Later, when one is being wash is like the one skin is being wrapped up. These are said to be some of the suffering of a birth. So, okay, we don't remember those all. That's truly, we don't remember none of them. Yeah. And I'm sure we went through that suffering. We went through that suffering because, you know, it's amazing, is it? Like, jewel ornament mentioned those all suffering in that. Then same time is it even mentioned in the womb, what kind of shape become in the certain weeks, what kind of a shape become certain months. Finally, scientists took photo in the womb.
Yes, and it's consistent.
And it's like, they took photo based on the jewel ornament. Really. So I think they called, I saw in the long time ago in New York Times, called the inside the womb photo. So those, when you look those, then that means that whatever in the text mention all those, there's a truth. So that way, even we don't remember, definitely it's true. What I'm saying is, then said, suffering of the old age, youth, fate, and the body loss is the strength. Once become the hunch over, and the body become stiff. It's become difficult to walk, sit, or move around. So Milarepa said, when we get older, when you were sitting, it's like a rock throwing on the ground. Big rock, not put gently, just when you standing, said it's like pulling up the stick from the ground. And then when we're walking, it's like someone said, looking for the small object. That is the old. When skin become the wrinkle, so eyes become the unclear, one's become the, that way need glasses. Heard, hearing, one's tongue make the unintelligible sound. One's memory deteriorate. One's teeth fall out, and one's unable to chew food. Luckily, now it's a technology make you new food, new teeth. One's stomach is unable to digest food. Once that cannot make the technology. One sense of the taste become the floor, and one's unable to enjoy the taste of the food, or one's could in the past, one being in the pain from the shortness of the breath, and is taught that old age attract a plethora of the other disease. So what is this saying? Is it, lots of people want to stay young. They spend lots of money, but you cannot avoid from those aging, sickness. Those things you cannot avoid. This naturally comes long as you are born in the human. This is a kind of like a, you call the birthright, yeah. Human birthright. Those suffering are human birthright. Can say we're born with that, okay. And suffering of sickness, one stuck with a pain, various illness must undergo virulent illness must undergo the harsh medical treatment. I experienced thus. Once enjoyment of the food and drink cease, that's true. Suddenly then slowly you cannot eat that one, you cannot eat this one, you cannot drink that one. You have so many restrictions. So I was jogging to my friend, I said, I think I am truly hungry ghost. I said, he said, why? Because when I was young, I was hungry because of the obstacle by the outer obstacle. Yeah, outer obstacles. Even you see, you're not allowed to eat them because you don't have money to buy. Now I can afford of those like ice cream and things like that, the delicious one. But now I have inner obscurations. So even I can afford, I cannot eat them. So that is I mean, this human, we are hunger ghosts. Yeah. When you were, most of people are that is same similar experience. And then also when we were young, our bodies are healthy, but our wallet is really unhealthy, so cannot afford all those. But when we have work hard and make some money, when we collected some money at that time, kind of a little bit too late, a little bit, so lots of things restrict. Come, doctor say you're not allowed to eat this, you cannot do this one, then there's a hub of food you're not allowed to eat, because even you give yourself permission, your body not giving you permission. Hence, the suffering of the dead, this time of the alone is a must apart away. All of this wealth and possession and all of one's relative and loved one are left behind. One sleep in one's bed is the last time. One ate one's last food. One speak one's last word. One experience the intense suffering of the interruption of life. So this is at the time of the death, there's a sudden suffering, because our vessel is a kind of cutting, a vessel of the life is a cutting. There's a strong suffering that is talking about the interruption of life. Threshing like a fish beach on the hard sand. When life is one's life is cut up, one's body become the corpse, and one's mind wander the bardo like the feather blowing in the wind. Their suffering is limitless on the taking away from the Lord of the dead and so forth. So in the bardo, because right now our mind not really like feather, because the mind is detached. Can say detach with the body, attached with the body. Mind will attach with the body. So even you think you not get there. But Bardo, they don't have this gross body. Whatever you think, you will get there. So that way it's the karmic wind to blow you. So you have no stay one place. Make sense? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Furthermore, there's a fear of a meeting with the hostility and the suffering of the meeting with them. There's a fear of the being separate from the loving friend and the suffering of the separation. There's a suffering of the looking for what's does not have and not finding it, and the suffering of the difficulty to keeping what we possess. That's I think we have that. Yeah.
Yeah, we sure do.
So then lots of people think, oh, but God Ram have a great happiness. But the one I want to experience your suffering of the death, suffering of the God Ram, just look at death approaching the God of the desire Ram, they become unpleasant in the color, smell, they become the unhappy about their own seat and desire to go to the elsewhere. That ornamental flower garland wilt, and their clothes become filthy and have a full smell of sweat. Unlike the previously, this is the raising of the 5 sign of the foreshadow their death. And they are abandoned by their son, daughter, and friend, and they are left alone, seeing the place of their subsequent rebirth with the eye of the God and the low ram and so forth. They are fretting with the faint, from far away, the God of the mother, father, friend, and relative call out, saying his name, and dear one, take rebirth in the human realm, Jambudeva. They are be practicing the 10 virtue action. You will be again to be able to take birth in this God realm, making this prayer, the toss a flower and then depart. This way, the suffering is goes rise for 7 days. So now, God realm, generally, they don't have suffering rest of their life. They are enjoying everything they provide from the, medically or whatever they need, and they don't have a sickness, they don't have an injury like us, they don't have all those suffering. But 7 days before their death, they have those all unpleasant, sweating, smelling, and all their friends leave them because they don't like the smell. They go away. You are 7 days. One human, 100 years. Humans, 100 years is 33 God realms 1 day. So they suffer that 700 years. That suffering. And not just only those unpleasant, they see where they reborn. Most of the time they reborn in the lower realm. Why they reborn in the lower realm is because in the God realm, they only enjoying with their good karma. And all the good karma exhausts in there. Now left nothing. When you left nothing, you were born to the lower realm. It's like you go to vacation. End of the vacation, your wallet is empty. Then you have to come back to the miserable again. Yeah. So God realm is like vacation, only short time. So that way I said, many times, if samsaric pleasure is a permanent, you don't need to seek the nirvana. Samsaric pleasure is good enough. But samsaric pleasure, no matter how pleasure it is, never be permanent. Always a short time. Make sense? So this God realm, they can see 33 God realms. Then above the 33 God realms, there's another God realms. There 1 day is a human's, 1 day is a human's 200 years. So they experience the 1,400 years that experience suffering of the human realm. Then there's called the called the Tushita God realm. There's also there. So there's above, there's enjoying from the manifestation and enjoying from the others manifestation. Each one is a lifespan is increasing the double. So that is so then they forget all the enjoying lifetimes, enjoying is when they experience that suffering. Make sense? Mm-hmm. So that way, in the basically human, samsara is called samsara is full of sufferings. In the jewel ornament said 3 sufferings: suffering of change, suffering of suffering, and all pervasive suffering. So all pervasive suffering is like you have the pimple, but not yet ripening. So you couldn't see, but it's there. You're not experiencing. Long as you have this physical body, you have suffering. Long as you have this 5 aggregate, because 5 aggregate is the source of suffering. So that were all pervasive suffering. Human, we're not experiencing the all pervasive suffering. Why? Because we have a greater than that suffering called the suffering of change and suffering of suffering. So it's just like when you cut up really strong disease, something's really bad disease, really painful sickness. At that time, other sickness you're not going to feel, other things not going to sense. Yeah. So So that way we're not sensing that our pervasive suffering. We're not sensing that our body as a suffering. So Kambaba said, this is like a unwrap. What call the pimple or what called in the body when
Pimple is fine. Yeah, pimple works.
then suffer of change. I say, there's one quote in the jewel ornament said, rice with the poison, bread food with the poison. I think it's talking about the suffering of change. Is a when you're rashing on the skin problem with itchy, when you rash, it's
Maybe
kind of
scratch.
It gives you a little bit release from the itching, yeah, but later it get worse. That's suffering of change. Give you some kind of, so the skin problem never touch on that. When you have itching, you have to leave. If you touch, it get worse. So suffering of change is like that. By scratching, little bit release you from the itching, but later it get worse. Make sense? So that is the suffering of change. That little releasing that is not helpful, actually harming you. So that is the suffering of change. Then suffering is on the pimple, you have a boil. Pimple is already painful, yeah? When on it have a boil, it get worse. So three sufferings. Example is it. So most of the human realm, we are experiencing the suffering and suffering of change. Yeah, and the higher realms. And lower realms mostly experience the suffering of sufferings. In the samsaric beings, we're not experiencing the all-pervasive sufferings because two other are two strong sufferings. So that way, our feeling of all-pervasive suffering is like one hair in the palm. You're not going to feel that. But arhat, because they don't have those gross suffering of suffering and suffering of change. So that hair goes to the eye, you feel immediately. So arhat, they can feel the suffering of all-pervasive suffering. Because they are free from the gross suffering. Make sense? So we are tortured by these three sufferings. No one in the samsara is free from these three sufferings. Especially, we are not free from the suffering of the death. That is one of the greatest suffering. You know, we are okay sick. We are okay, aging or things, but we're not okay to die. Basically, nobody wants to see that one. So that way, samsara being is not out of control of their own destination of the death. So the will of samsara is holding by the Lord of the death. So under the Lord of the death, we all. So there's in the quote said, in the samsarics, even the tip of the grass, you're not going to find the happiness. Full of suffering in the samsara. So we have to meditate on those fours. Recognizing your precious, why you call the precious human body. You have to recognize your own value, and remembering the impermanent. Because no matter how precious you have, it is only temporary. Then, even it's impermanent, karma is not impermanent. It will follow with you. Yeah, even you died, karma will come after you. And because no matter where we go in the samsara, there are no true happiness. That's the falls of samsara. So these four make, person who have a depth of their heart, meditation on this four subject, that is become fully, a kind of can say sincere, can say, or authentic Dharma practitioner. So that way, this is called the foundation of the Dharma. If you want to be practice this Dharma according to the Dharma, if you want to practice as a Dharma, as a liberation path, you must need these four subjects for training of the mind. Method. Make sense? So this meditation, actually, traditionally, I think you have to meditate first as a precious human body, maybe 1 month or 1 week. And the second one is then the second subject is 1 month or 1 week, something like that. You move on. And some they do is like 4 sessions, and each session one subject meditation. So I don't know, whatever make us to bring to our mind to the training into the Dharma, I think work with that way. Everybody not work same way. Each one have their own. So we have to follow with our own experience, how you feel, how much benefiting you from that. Because sometimes people think too much, like, for example, falls of samsara, they get a depression. Make sense? It's not good. So you have to balance also. Because if you think only negative, sometimes it's not healthy, your mind. So that time, then you have to think about the, loving kindness, Buddha nature, and those all the positive things too. Yeah, because I think always thinking negative, not necessarily healthy for the mind. But because we have a really strong habitual tendency of being attached to the samsara, we must need a strong antidote. So this is seems a really strong emotion. So it's a necessity to, free our mind from the caught of the web of samsara. This web of samsara we caught is not just one lifetime's experience, not just short times our habitude. It's countless lifetimes. So that way, everything's real to us right now. We created that with our mind, with that conceptual. So because of that reason, the antidote have to be really strong one. Like if your sickness is really strong, you have to take a strong dosic medicine. Yeah. Mm-hmm. If your sickness is not that bad, then the small one is okay. Mm-hmm. So same way, the dosic of the Dharma, you have to have a strong one. Your mind is a really strong negative. So this is a really heavy subject, strong, heavy emotion subject. Yeah, these four, especially like impermanent, death, karma, falls of samsara. They are really, I experience, whenever we teach in jewel ornament, first 2 chapters, people love that. Buddha nature, precious human, then people really enjoy. But then 3rd chapter comes, they dropped. Lots of people don't want to come. Because talking about the suffering of samsara, nobody wants to listen to that one. It's a heavy subject emotionally, but we need something like that to destroy this heavy habitual tendency. We just the old, our antique habitual tendency. We had this primordially from the beginningless samsara. We build this habit. So if long time, if you collected it, even the water become a rock. Yeah. Water can become a rock. soft soil can become a rock. That's the evidence you can see. So our soft soil is a rock now. Soft soil of our mind is a really truly solid rock. So that have to make soft. They need a strong antidote. That way, this subject is a heavy and can say heavy, yeah? Yeah, but it's necessary if we want to become an authentic practitioner. You know, so that reason. Chanchu sem joy Rinpoche manje panai je joy ye bai nyam bai mem bai ya Ngondro bewa sho dada konde tam jeje tusundo sabada yebe jewe zawad dada suje danje nyundo lana me bayanda ba zobe janju rembo je dobo joje jeje konse kunje jeje dendene la wanda gomba renje beje dembasit shedu tusan gomben zenju je. Why progress?
Khenpo.